one of the things that I'm trying to be better about in myself is to see the value in myself beyond like physical contribution, beyond material, beyond the work. A lot of men, common amongst all men, is we're all kind of raised with the idea that a man is exactly as valuable as the things he produces. And like, I don't want to say it's true, but there's a lot of deep systemic reasoning that helps to support that. A lot of just the way our culture is set up too. It's like the idea is that, like, the people who believe that, the man should be working, the man should be the provider, like times are changing. It is getting better. Is that necessary to cut in front? It is getting better, but like there still is a lot of that stigma. Like, if the man isn't working, if the man isn't, providing, if he isn't doing all that stuff, it's much more acceptable in general for in a relationship for the woman to not be working than it is for the man to not be working. Obviously, like I said, things are getting better. It is getting more equivalent. It's getting more like it's okay if either person works or doesn't work, as long as the couple's okay with it, and that's totally fine. But because I've been raised with that idea that my worth as an individual, as a man, as a partner, as an anything, is the money that comes in on my paycheck and the physical labor that I put in, that I produce. Sometimes it can fuck with my head a little bit. Sometimes it's gets brutal sometimes, especially since I work a job that's largely commission based, and so there will be times when it's like it was a really short week. Not a lot of jobs coming. It's a slow season right now, and so I worked my ass off. I hustled my ass off. I did the best I possibly could, but it comes up short of where it needs to be, and it's really hard to not take that as like a direct blow to me as a person, to me as a provider. Like, it's like, I'm not doing right. But like when I talk to my partner, when she brings up the reasons why she loves me and cares about me, my job is not among there. My paycheck is not among there. None of that's among there. It's, how I treat her, the way that I love, the way I care about people, the way I interact with people. Like I can't think of the word for it. I'm sure it's going to come to me in a minute. But it's the stuff that like can't be measured in dollars and cents and numbers on a spreadsheet. And it is hard for me sometimes, especially, and you think it wouldn't be, because I fully understand. I'm able to see that in other people. I'm able to look at someone else, of any gender, and go, yeah, you are not your paycheck. Your worth is not, your tax bracket. Your worth is you as a person and how you interact with the world, and the way you treat other people. I recognize that in other people. It's just hard for me to take that and apply it back to myself. And it is a big part of that conditioning. Like, men, we're not raised well. I mean, yeah, sure, we're raised to be productive workers, and it doesn't matter how much we're hurting, we just keep going to work, and we keep doing better, and we keep, doing this and that, and that's fine, that's wonderful and all, but there is also the issue that, like, none of that is teaching us how to be more in touch with our emotions. None of that's teaching us how to treat other people better. Like, we'll get the thing of like, you're supposed to treat other men to a certain level because they're men. that's it. That's really it. If you're really lucky, as a young man, you may be born into a family where they actually teach you about stuff like treating women properly and just treating people in general properly, having compassion for other people, consent. Oh my God, can you imagine being born into a family that teaches their young boys consent? No, not me. It was, well, no, like, she might be playing hard to get, or, she might be, like, she wants to say yes, but she has to say no a certain amount of times so that it doesn't seem like she really wants it. And that kind of stupid shit. Like, the older generations, man, like, they worked their asses off, but they had no concept of consent at all. But yeah, and so, like, it helps having a partner who is very supportive, who does understand those types of things, and I can open up to her and be like, hey, this is kind of how I'm feeling, and she doesn't like downplay or belittle that, or be like, oh, no, you like that's not how you should feel. Well, no, like, she's very validating. Like, she'll be, hey, I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're going through. And she's like, but those aren't the reasons that I love you. And it's nice to hear that. And I guess what I was saying is where it's like, I think if men could better communicate and didn't try to be all stoic about it and be like, oh, I can't let my wife know that I'm stressed out and struggling. Like, that's what she's there for, is to, when you're struggling, when you're up in your head and you're having issues, she goes and she comforts you. She takes care of you. And then when the other thing happens and she's stressed out and she's at her wit's end, you go and you comfort her and you take care of her. It's the way a relationship is supposed to work. But I think part of that is that, like, part of the reason why it doesn't happen is because men are raised that, well, we're supposed to be doing this. Honestly, men are kind of raised that we're supposed to suffer. Like, we're supposed to be, we're supposed to go out, we're supposed to go to war and die, we're supposed to, work ourselves to fucking death to, make sure that the family has money. And we're not raised with any idea of, like, oh, you should be thinking about what to do after. You should be trying to find a personality and identity beyond that. I think it's why you get so many guys too that are that their entire identity is their work. You see a lot in trades. Like, I work trades. You see a lot in trades where the guys get in there and their entire thing is, I do trades. These are the guys that they're union, all they wear is like union labeled gear. Their entire truck is covered in it. Same guys will have, like, all their stuff that says, like, dirty hands, clean money. Like, their entire personality is, I do trades. And when they talk to other men, don't be in this weird pecking order of, like, well, I do trades, so I'm better than the guy who does office work. It's like, you're not. You're no better than anyone else based on your work. And it's just, I don't know, like, and I feel like that's where I've struggled a lot too, is that, like, I don't put my entire identity in my work. I put more identity in, like, who I am outside of work. Like, I do this job because it pays the bills, because I'm decently good at it. I'm proud of the work that I do. Like, if anything I put my hands on, I'm gonna do it with pride, and I'm gonna be proud to stamp my name onto anything I touch. But I'm not sitting here going around, oh, I'm so proud to be a plumber, and I'm so proud to be trades. And no, I don't give a fuck about that. That's fucking stupid. Like, that's not an identity. That's not a personality. That's a career choice. And I don't know. Maybe that's the other thing too. Maybe if guys were more willing to think about who they are outside of work, they may be a little more willing to, like, not be so internalized in their stress about work. Because I mean, I don't know, as I'm saying it, I wonder if there's an issue of, like, because man thinks that his entire identity is work, if he's stressed out about work and about things that are going on about his job and everything, that he is actively fighting against his own identity. And I don't know, maybe. It makes sense to me, but I mean, I don't know. I wonder if, makes me wonder too how women are raised in those regards. Because I know that, like, just as much as, you know, young boys and young men are raised to have certain masculine ideals and identities, and pop culture reinforces it, I know that those same things apply to women, because that's just how the world works. But I'd be so curious to, like, find out, like, more of, like, how that's treated. Because I can make assumptions based on a couple conversations I've had. I mean, from what I've seen outside looking in, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like a lot of the training and raising of young women is built around making them to be homemakers, making them to be caregivers and providers, in the sense of, like, you know, like, I know a lot of women who know how to cook amazingly well, and it's because they were told, well, no, your job is to cook. I was never told to cook when I was a kid. And so, I can make a couple things. I can't make a lot, though. And I never learned that type of stuff. And I'm learning it now, slowly and painfully slow, honestly. It's just, you know, it's much harder to learn things as an adult than it is to learn them as a kid. But yeah, but, like, you know, so they're taught, like, cooking, they're taught cleaning, they're taught, like, different childcare stuff. I know a lot of women I know, you know, as soon as they had younger siblings, they became de facto little moms. Like, it's like, okay, cool. Now you're responsible for the younger siblings. And, like, I had that too. My situation was different than that. Like, it wasn't, like, gender biased, like, you are, you know, your gender says you must do this. For us, it was, after my parents split, my dad was working a job. He was cleaning parking lots at his own business, and he worked 7 nights a week and 4 days a week. Like, he was out every single night, and then 3 or 4 days out of the week, he'd have to go out and clean more parking lots. So he needed to clean parking lots. And so a lot of my free time was spent at home with my little brother, who's 6 years younger than me, because someone had to be home with him. Sometimes we'd both go with Dad. So I spent a lot of time going with Dad, doing a lot of work with him. But there are a lot of times where it's like, oh, I need to be at home with my little brother so that he's taken care of, because he's not old enough to be alone. And so I had a lot of that parentification too, but it was more of a necessity of survival, not, cultural gender demand. And so, like, and I don't know, I was never made to feel like, oh, this is your job to do. It was, the family needs to survive, and so we all got to step up in our own way, and this is the way you need to step up. And it worked. It wasn't perfect, but that's, we did our best. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what to title this one. I'm just kind of word vomiting right now. too much silence on this. It's one of the things I think about, and I've always kind of felt isolated from other like men because like all they want to do is they want to talk about work, they want to talk shop, they want to, you know. And then it's like, oh well, what do you guys do in your free time? And usually I'd be like, oh, I don't have free time, or it'd be sports. And don't get me wrong, sports are cool. I'm not so obsessed with sports that. Okay, so as I'm okay, I think this is gonna be a long video now, because like I don't identify with sports like that either. Like, because here's the thing, I grew up like watching a lot of football as a kid. I generally like, you know, where I lived, like, you know, I had the choice of Oakland or San Francisco. I chose Oakland. And so it was like, cool, Raiders, A's, Warriors. Funny thing is, all of them have abandoned me in some way, shape, or form. Raiders already went to Vegas. A's are in Sacramento, supposed to go to Vegas. And then the Warriors went to San Francisco. See my previous video about San Francisco. I spent a lot of time not liking San Francisco at all. I'm coming around. It may take a little bit longer to come around to rooting for San Francisco sports teams. But that's its own thing. We'll get to that when we get to it. But like I've never been like, first and foremost, I'm a Raiders fan. Like, you know, I've never like, the type of guy, I'm gonna do my whole car up in a bunch of Raiders gear, or I'm gonna, you know, what's it called? I'm gonna like, I have my entire like game room, fucking man cave is just like fucking sports memorabilia everywhere. I'm more nerdy than that. Like all my identifications come from nerdy stuff. But like, I don't know, like, I think too, like it's hard for me to go like, this one aspect, this one hobby is my entire personality. Like, I don't like being boxed and fucking like held down like that. I mean, I don't want to be a simple man. I don't want to be just like, oh, here's this guy, he has two thoughts in his head, but he's a man's man. No, I don't want to be that. I'm not even sure what this entry is about, to be honest with you. 0 watchers, so I mean, I'm talking to myself, which, cool, good for me. Yeah, I don't know. I guess what advice for myself is continue to see my value beyond the physical, beyond the material. See the see the things that I provide that are not like, you know, that are of the heart and of the mind, because that's where other people value me. No one else is valuing me based on my ability to turn a wrench. They're valuing me based on my ability to be a good person. So yeah, I need to keep that to myself, and then be willing to reach out to my support network and be like, hey, I'm going through some shit right now. I could use some help, and to use that support network. I don't know. Makes sense to me, but